Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the CD guy, Johnny Z here. Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. The day is finally here. Iron Maiden are kicking off the Run for Your Lives World Tour live in Budapest today. And so what I'm going to be doing here, this is not a concert review because I'm not watching the footage yet. The footage will probably be out by tonight, on YouTube, so people will be uploading stuff. And so I may do a concert review tomorrow on the channel, specifically focusing on how Simon Dawson does behind the kit. This being, of course, the first Maiden show without Nico McBrain on the drums since 1982, but what I'm going to be doing here is reacting to the Iron Maiden set list as it drops. Maiden are updating their socials with every song that they're playing live here on this tour, and so what I'm going to be doing is just giving you guys my reactions to the songs in real time they're doing live, and this is a set list that is set to, go all the way from their debut through the Fear of the Dark record, so those first 9 albums, and they promise to do stuff they have never done live before, and so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of surprises in the set, so wanted to share with you guys my reaction to those songs as they're being revealed. And so with that said, let's get started. Of course, Dr. Doctor plays before the band takes the stage, Gotta Love UFO, and then track number 1 here is Ides of March from the Killers record, and so this is the playback intro of Ides of March. It was only played live once, and that was at Ruskin Arms in London in 1979. That was the only time it was performed, live and not on tape. So you have the tape playback intro of Ides of March here to get us started. What's going to come next? Next up, we have Murders in the Rue Morgue, also from the Killers album here, the first, real song performed as the band take the stage here. First time this song has been done live since 2005. Great high-energy opener to kick off the show, and a killer deep cut from the Diano years. Track number 3, we have yet another song from Killers here, Wrathchild, and, pretty much expected this one to be in the set list, right? But what's weird to me is that they haven't done this song live since 2017, which it just doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it was last done on the Book of Souls tour, and, if they were going to start with the Ides of March intro, why not just go right into Wrathchild like it does on the record? 4 songs in, and this set list is going very heavy on Killers era material here next, with the title track, track number 4, Killers, and this is one of the all-time best Paul Di'Anno Maiden songs, one of the all-time best Maiden songs, period. Great to have it back in this set list. Has not been played live since the Ed Hunter tour in 1999, and, fans of the Killers record are definitely going to get their money's worth on this tour, at least so far. For track number 5, we're going to go now to the debut album, self-titled Iron Maiden, with Phantom of the Opera. Another Di'Anno-era classic here with Phantom, one of Bruce Dickinson's favorite Maiden songs, and he had hinted at bringing it back, so had the band as well, during the initial branding for this tour, so this is no surprise, but still a great treat. Maiden haven't played Phantom live since 2014, and, you have to think so far, look at this set list, that this is feeling like some sort of tribute to Paul Di'Anno thus far, who, of course, passed away last year. I mean, the tour is supposed to feature songs, from the debut all the way through Fear of the Dark, and so far we're 5 songs in, and we haven't even entered the Bruce Dickinson era yet. Well, I guess I spoke too soon, because now we enter the Bruce Dickinson era here, track number 6, Number of the Beast, the title track to this iconic record from 1982, the first with Bruce Dickinson in the band, replacing Paul Di'Anno, and for whatever reason, I guess I had this Mandela effect that, I thought they did this on the Future Past tour, but turns out this is the first time Maiden had performed Number of the Beast since 2022, when Legacy of the Beast wrapped, so, so far we seem to be going in some sort of an order here, right? First, the Di'Anno era stuff, pretty heavy on that, the first 5 songs, and now moving into the first record with Bruce. Track 7, let's move to the Seventh Son of a Seventh Son record with The Clairvoyant. Great cut from this album here, has not been done live since 2013. Got that awesome Steve Harris bass intro, instantly recognizable. Gotta be a great, live song in that respect. You hear that bass, it's The Clairvoyant. That's gotta be great. Can't wait to hear some live clips of this song. Very futuristic vibe to it as well. Love the lyrics on this track. One of my favorites from Seventh Son, which happens to be one of my favorite Maiden albums of all time. Probably second behind A Matter of Life and Death, but considering we're not getting anything from that record on this tour, very happy to see some representation for Seventh Son of a Seventh Son that's not Can I Play With Madness. The set list is pretty much out of chronological order now as we go to Power Slave for the epic title track, which in my opinion is a song that should never have left the Iron Maiden set list. That should be a mainstay in the Maiden set forever. Just a great song, an iconic live track as well. The first time they've done it since 2017 on the Book of Souls tour. Very cool. Can't wait to see some pictures from this particular song to see if Bruce is wearing the mask, but, great stuff here. Power Slave, epic album, and this is one of the greatest title tracks in metal history. Like I said, should never have left the Maiden set list, and so I'm really glad it's back on this tour. I'd imagine we're probably halfway through the set list here at track 9. We're sticking with the Power Slave record and going with 2 Minutes to Midnight. I'll be very interested in hearing hearing, on YouTube, after when this whole show is uploaded, how the set list flows live, because 2 Minutes to Midnight has pretty much always been, one of those songs that's early on in the set. So I'm a little surprised to see it in the middle here at track number 9, but hey, this is another essential Iron Maiden live track. It always gets the crowd going, and they haven't done it live since Legacy of the Beast in 2022. Oh yes, at track number 10, we have Rime of the Ancient Mariner. This one kind of got leaked a little bit earlier today when the merchandise got leaked, and there's already a really cool shirt of the Power Slave cover on the water instead of in the desert, and on the back it has the ship from Rime of the Ancient Mariner. So I kind of saw this one coming, but still I'm really glad to see it back in the set list, and I'm assuming this song will be the focal point of the show. Usually Maiden pick one track to really emphasize with, whether it be pyro or merchandise, and on the last tour it was Alexander the Great, that one got a shirt, so this time it looks like it's going to be Rime of the Ancient Mariner. And it's a song they have not done since 2009, and I know Bruce Dickinson has said he really wanted to bring this song back to the set list, and I've seen Maiden 8 times now, and I've never heard Rime of the Ancient Mariner live, so those American dates cannot come soon enough. Another classic here from the Power Slave record at track number 10. Looks like Rime of the Ancient Mariner went roughly 15 minutes long. On to track number 11 now with Run to the Hills, and of course this song was going to be in the set list. Of course it's going to be a mainstay in pretty much any Iron Maiden set list, but the tour is called Run for Your Lives. It's direct lyrics from this song, so I was fully expecting this to be in the set list, and, I've heard it to death, I've heard it a million times, probably never need to hear it again, but can't deny it's a great live track, so although it's not a surprise, no problem with Run to the Hills being included here in the set. We have Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, the title track to this amazing record here. Really cool to have multiple epics in the set list thus far, and this was another song I was hoping would be added to the set. They've not done it live since 2014, and between this song and the Clairvoyant, I'm loving the Seventh Son representation thus far. I'm really surprised it took us this long to get to something from the Peace of Mind record here. We have the Trooper. Of course, you have to include the Trooper in this set list here. I've heard it to death, probably never need to hear it again. Would preferably replace it with, a deeper cut from the Peace of Mind album, but, at the end of the day, it's the Trooper. Of course it's going to be in the set list. It's still a phenomenal live song and a metal essential, so of course they're going to include it in a set of, live material that spans some of their best stuff from their debut all the way through Fear of the Dark. We have Hallowed Be Thy Name from Number of the Beast back in the set list. This was not in the set for the Future Past tour, which I thought was a really big disappointment. I was thrilled at that set list, but the one glaring omission was Hallowed Be Thy Name. That is, in my opinion, the greatest metal song of all time, and should always be in Maiden's set list, and out of all the times that I've seen Maiden, I think I've seen them about 8 times now, I've only seen them do Hallowed Be Thy Name a couple of times, because they didn't do it on the Book of Souls tour, they didn't do it on the Future Past tour, so I'm really glad it's back now, and like I said before, the best metal song ever for my money, should never, ever, ever leave the Iron Maiden set list, and so hopefully it stays there for the rest of their careers. We're going to go back now to the Paul Di'Anno era here for Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden not putting a set list together and not including this song. It's their signature anthemic track, right? Got Dave Murray's big solo in there, love it. And so even though it's a song, again, I've heard to death, they've done it on pretty much every tour, so I was definitely expecting it on this one as well, and I believe that should probably lead us into the Encore now. In the Encore with Aces High, following up Churchill's Speech from the Power Slave record, and this is a song that could either start the set or has to be the first song of the Encore. There's really no other place to put it in the set list, in my opinion, so really happy that, it's back in the set here, and of course, always a great live song, great high-octane, high-energy track, and so if Mutters and the Rue Morgue was going to be the opener to the main set, this makes for a great opener to the Encore. Really surprised that it took us so long to get something from the Fear of the Dark record in this set list, considering they said this tour was going to be spanning from the debut through Fear of the Dark, and they really kind of emphasized Fear of the Dark, for this tour, but this is the only song so far in the set that, of course, is the title track to the 1992 record, and it's a big crowd sing-along. Not my favorite song from the Fear of the Dark record. A lot of people were predicting some other tracks from that record that would have made the cut for the set list. I heard a lot of people say Be Quick or Be Dead, From Here to Eternity, maybe Afraid to Shoot Strangers. I said Wasting Love, just because, it would have been easier on Nico's, on Nico drumming, but he's not drumming for the band anymore, unfortunately, so you can scratch that from my prediction list when I did make my prediction about a year ago when they announced this tour. So, I have seen a lot of different songs thrown around from this record they would do live, and I assume Fear of the Dark would be in there, but there are a lot of other great deep cuts that I would be a lot more jazzed about if they did instead. Closing out the Encore here with Wasted Years from Somewhere in Time, the only song from the Somewhere in Time record, seeing that they exhausted a lot of those tracks on the previous tour, although I would have loved to have heard, like Deja Vu, or even even if they want to continue to put Alexander the Great in the set, that would have been awesome. Would have loved to have heard Sea of Madness, but Wasted Years was pretty much always going to be in the set, and so not surprised we had this close things out here. Great, way to finish off the set list, in my opinion, and at least to include one from Somewhere in Time. Okay, so there you have it. The Iron Maiden set list for the Run for Your Lives tour is complete. You guys can see it right over here. From top to bottom here, kicking things off with the intro, Ides of March, into Murders in the Rue Morgue, Wrathchild, Killers, Phantom of the Opera, The Number of the Beast, The Clairvoyant, Power Slave, 2 Minutes to Midnight, Rime of the Ancient Mariner, Run to the Hills, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, The Trooper, Hallowed Be Thy Name, Iron Maiden, then the encore, you have Aces High, Fear of the Dark, and Wasted Years. This was definitely a little bit different from the setlist that I had predicted for this tour. I thought they would have included stuff, a bit more heavier from the Fear of the Dark album, and maybe even a little bit heavier from No Prayer for the Dying, which just got completely glossed over. They didn't touch it on this set list here, but anyway, I'm really pleased with this. It kind of feels like kind of a remixed version of the early years tour set list, which is kind of cool, putting a lot of emphasis on the Diano years and the first few albums with Bruce, so it's cool that Maiden are doing another one of those nostalgic set lists here, and hopefully new material comes in the not-so-distant future, but another tour they're embarking on here, celebrating their great catalog, and so this is a whole ton of material here that I cannot wait to hear live once again. Some songs I've never heard live before, and so those American dates cannot come soon enough. I'm very pleased with this set list, and even though it's different from what I had expected, still lots of classics in here, and really happy to see the Diano stuff being brought back to the forefront as well, so 2 thumbs up from me. So that wraps up this video here, sharing my thoughts, my initial reaction to the new Iron Maiden setlist for the Run for Your Lives tour. I may do a concert review tomorrow if I'm able to find, some decent live footage. I didn't want to do a review now, kind of spur of the moment, right, with whatever, tacky footage people have, on their phones, kind of filming in the middle of a mosh pit like I did last time. Didn't want to do that this time. Thought this would be a little bit better to just react to the setlist, and if there are any other major talking points to talk about it, say, tomorrow on the channel, once better footage has surfaced, but definitely wanted to share my thoughts with you guys on the set list, which, like I said, a little bit different from what I thought, but I'm still really pleased with it. I definitely want to hear from you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on the new set list? I want to hear from you. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below, and turn on the bell for notifications so you don't miss a new upload. We'll be covering all things Run for Your Lives tour on this channel. Maiden, my favorite band. I never miss an opportunity to cover Iron Maiden, so stay tuned for whatever comes next for Iron Maiden here. I'll be here to cover it. And until next time, it's the CD guy, Johnny Z, signing off. Take care, everybody.